Welcome to New England Soccer Journal's The Goal Podcast, the podcast for serious soccer players and their supporters to help further their development and navigate their way throughout their soccer careers. And now, here's your host, Matt Langone.
Welcome to another episode of New England Soccer Journal's The Goal Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Langone. Today I'm joined in studio by New England Soccer Journal writer Matt Doherty, and our guest will be University of Vermont standout Max Murray. Max, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. It's been a whirlwind few weeks for you, and we're glad to have you because I know things are super busy, but we should probably begin with kind of the elephant in the room. You guys winning a national championship, which is still incredible for me to think about. I mean, University of Vermont winning its first ever national championship, but for you, a player on the team, been a key contributor on that program for years, to finally have this come to fruition and end your career with a national championship. What was the whole, just experience like for you?
Yeah. I always say this is the best decision I ever made going to UVM. I was there for 4 or 5 years. It was a really long journey, a lot of hard work put into it, but at the end of the day, the team came together for one last run in the NCAA tournament, and we finished the job, which was really special.
But when you think about this, though, I mean, that day, it was December 16th, I think you guys won the championship. Yeah. The flight home and everything, I mean, were you just like, my God, Vermont, we're national champions. I mean, not to take nothing away from Vermont, but it's a New England state school that had never won a championship to travel, nearly 7,000 miles and win all those games and to beat Marshall in the championship in the fashion you did, the come from behind win. I mean, what was kind of like just the plane ride home and just the environment when you guys got back to campus?
No, it was definitely a little bit like weird, like what you're saying, like, University of Vermont just won a national championship, like you grew up, especially as like soccer players, you see the Indianas, the Stanfords, and like these big Power 5 conference schools won the national championship, and to say, you helped the University of Vermont put their name up with these teams is something special. And getting back to campus, unfortunately the students weren't there, but still we saw a lot of local people and some students that stayed around and welcomed us home, and just to feel the support, and we got the feeling that the national championship was more than just for the team. The whole state was behind us that entire journey, and we really felt that once we got home.
Max, Matt D here. First off, congratulations. I was able to watch the semifinals and the championship game, and it was awesome. It was great theater, and I kind of know the answer to this question, but I want to hear you kind of describe it to our listeners. But like, what was it about this team that allowed you guys to win a national championship? Like, obviously, I feel like every championship team has some special quotient or something about them. Like, how would you describe this group?
We were willing to do whatever it took, and you kind of look at some of our games that we played in the tournament. Iona, we were on the front foot for most of that game. We were able to put 5 goals in. Hofstra was a good balance of both, but then once we got to like the San Diego, the Pitt, and the Denver and the Marshall games, we played more defense, and we sat back a little bit more, but it was just digging deep, and we were willing to sit back, absorb a little bit more pressure, but we trusted our guys up top. Like Bazzi I think scored 6 goals this tournament. Maxi scored some of the most important goals for us this year in the tournament, and we just trusted in what we're doing. We were willing to, we know if we sat back in our 4-4-2, like no one was able to get through us, and it also helps having a 6'6" goalie behind you who can catch every cross. So we're just willing to do the dirty work, and it paid off.
Hey, let's not forget you're 6'5" yourself, so you got some height back there as well.
Yeah,
so.
It was me, Nicholas, and then Zach, who, I mean, he's 6'1", but this guy, the way he plays like he's 6'5". So we felt like if we got teams to only cross the ball and like play balls over the top, we felt comfortable enough to deal with it for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
You're a New England guy. I mean, you're talking to us from Maine right now, where you grew up, Kennebunkport, right? Kennebunkport, Maine. And I've been up to UVM a few times, mainly for basketball games. And the thing you notice, you touched on it, is how that community, how the state kind of rallies around Vermont. I mean, they're knowledgeable. It spans age groups. I mean, there's older fans, there's elderly fans, there's young kids. Vermont is kind of its own thing. I mean, you guys are almost like the big game in town. Do you feel that during the season, like your home matches, just, if you're hosting UNH, you're hosting somebody from America East and is a big home match, do you feel the community just kind of rally around your program?
Yeah, 100%. It definitely, like every home game, we feel like we got a 12th man with us. And it all kind of starts, over the summer, Coach Dow, he does VFA camps. And a lot of us, help out throughout the summer, and we create these connections. And then some of us also coach for the local soccer teams, and where we create even more connections. And this the bond that we have together, and especially in the Burlington area, is so special. And it just helps us because also traveling to a lot of our away games, like Hofstra, San Diego, Pitt. Even though we're away, we still call them home games because of how many fans ended up coming up to these games, and it just provides you with that extra boost and that extra motivation to get the job done.
You mentioned that bond, like, this is cliche, but like watching you guys on TV, it just felt like there's like a vibe to your team, like a chemistry, character. Like, what was that locker room like in terms of just personality wise? Like, it feels like you all gelled together and you kind of had this underdog mentality a little bit. Like, what was that like?
Yeah, no, the team bond that we had this year was really special. It all kind of starts during captain's practice week, where the week before actual preseason, we bring all the guys in, and those guys that are staying in dorms are staying off campus with the guys that have houses and apartments. So we get to know like the younger guys a little bit quicker that way. But like in the locker room, like I don't know what it was, but this team is like, even though like we're in these high, I guess tense matches, we always found, like, especially before the game, we were all relaxed, laughing, just enjoying the moment being with each other. And I felt like that was just so important to us. Yeah, it's a really, really serious game, but at the same time, we kind of took a step back, sometimes just enjoyed being there in the moment. And I always kind of describe it as like we had this kind of switch where, we were really, really focused when we needed to be, but at the same time, traveling on the bus, playing whatever it was, like we just enjoyed being with each other. We played card games, we played board games, we played all these kind of games to like really just gel together especially during this tournament where, we traveled over 7,000 miles. So
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I think the most remarkable thing about the run was, obviously in the semis and finals, you tied up and late. And I know that was a theme all season, right? You scored, like 16 goals in the 80th minute or beyond. Like, what is that? Like, how does that happen? Like, how do you guys rise to that moment?
Yeah. I think it all just comes down to like mentality. Like, at the beginning of the season, we have our fitness test, and this year we broke our record for the team fitness test as a group, and I think just getting into those 80th plus minute type of scenarios, we've already like mentally trained ourselves to push past our limits and to do that one more sprint, and and when it got to that 80 plus minute, we got a guy like Max Kissel who can come off the bench, who's one of the fastest guys on our team. And in the Marshall game, it kind of shows like when you got a guy who's fresh and ready to go against a guy who's played 100 plus minutes, it kind of wears on you a little bit. And just being able to have that type of like bench production that we had all year was special.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, you personally, you scored 10 goals in 2022, and you were playing striker at that point, and then this year you make a move to center back and just patrol. I mean, it's I gotta admit, it's a luxury to have a 6'5" athletic, talented guy as a center back. So you made that transition look really easy. But personally, to do that, to go from being a goal scorer, I mean, you still had, I think 4 goals, 4 assists this year anyways, so you still produce goals. But to go from being a striker who was a very, established striker in Division I college soccer to then become a center back on a national championship team, I mean, I don't know that I want you to pat yourself on the back here, but just like what mentality did you have for yourself to be able to make that switch and kind of swallow whatever pride you had as a goal scorer and become a center back?
Yeah. I actually ended up, so I got recruited to go into UVM as a center back.
Okay.
And then like my first 2 years, I kind of moved all over the place. My freshman year, I was like playing center mid, striker. My first game was at center back, so I kind of moved all over the place. And then my sophomore year, I mostly played in the midfield. My first start that year was in the midfield. And then I got moved up to striker. But throughout this whole process of like switching positions, I've always had open, talks with our coaches. And, I realized pretty like junior, senior year, mostly junior year, like to be able to do that, you got to really buy into the process of, those extra sessions, the film sessions and all that. So, I was doing a lot of behind the scenes work to, get myself to be able to play these multiple positions for the team. And then going into this 5th year, I had talked to Dow about, maybe going back to center back. It was an open conversation, we'll think about it. And then I went into the summer. I trained all summer as a center or a striker. I played striker for my summer team, and then, an injury pops up. And then, I'm back at center back, but it's always been something that, it's been an open communication between me and the coaches. And, I try to put myself mentally, prepare myself best for any scenario. And, that's kind of just how it went.
And I imagine that versatility, we're going to talk about this, but you were drafted in the MLS Super Draft, which we're going to get into, also created an incredible December for you. But that versatility and willingness to switch positions is a valuable tool that you're going to have for the rest of your soccer career. But also, I got to imagine that your teammates, when they see you able to switch like that and go from position to position and kind of for the betterment of the team, that's got to do wonders for just the team persona and just your team mentality that, hey, Max is willing to go play center back again. We got an injury. He's going to go back there and play center back. We know he's a double-figure goal scorer a couple of years ago, but he's going to go play center back. I mean, how much does that type of stuff help in a championship run?
Oh, it helps so much. Because we just got so much trust in each other this year, and within each other. It's happened a few times. Like Mike Bleeker, who played left back for a majority of the season, he started playing center back for the first few games, and then he switches positions. David Ismail this year, he's played center mid, striker, right mid, left mid. So being able to have a team where a lot of players can play a lot of different positions, you trust each other, and you get this feeling of no matter what position they're playing in, the level isn't going to drop. And I think that's just a skill and a value that we had here at Vermont to do whatever it took, no matter what position you're playing in. And it was special.
By the way, was it Ismail who had that nasty goal? I think I saw it on social media. Right? Yeah, that thing was ridiculous. That might have been the best goal I saw all year. Yeah, crazy.
Which round was that?
Max, describe that goal real. Describe what he did on that goal. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. So the Hofstra had just scored to tie 1-1, and then off kickoff, we played around, and then Zach, our right center back, drove forward, chips the ball over their back line. David heel taps it up over his head, and then volleys it back post.
It was insane. Wow. It was the heel touch was ridiculous. I mean, but not only that, the angle that he scored at was crazy too. It wasn't like a straight on shot. He was down the right. It was down the right side. It was nasty.
Yeah. And it was like Hofstra didn't touch the ball again after it scored, and we just 30 seconds later we scored.
Was the San Diego game, did you tie it late again, or was it tied going?
San Diego was 0-0 going into OT,
And then
and then we got
the PK.
yeah, we got the PK
Okay,
30 seconds in.
that's right. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
You guys were obviously like a very experienced team, like a lot of veterans. Like for you and the rest of it, like did you always want to come back for that 5th year? Was there a chance of like, hey, I might, go pro after my senior year, or did you and the group, like, did you want to kind of finish out your UVM career like with that 5th year? And when was this kind of, obviously it ended perfect for you, but like, what was that decision like for the group did you all want to come back is basically what I'm asking. And was there kind of like some unfinished business in that regard?
Yeah, 100%. So there was 5 or 6 of us who could have taken our 5th year here at Vermont. And the thought of going pro was always like, always a thought in the back of my head. And, I was hoping to get drafted last year, but I didn't, it's fine. But four of my classmates ended up transferring out and like going to play other places, or they just stopped playing.
Okay.
But me and Zach, we sat down together, and we had the conversation about coming back for our 5th year, and then end of the season meetings with Dow, and the rest of the coaches were like, you got to come back if you want to come back for your 5th year. You're going to be finishing your legacy and the legacy that you've already started here, and then your 5th year is your chance for you to like, finish that off and to leave the program better than when you came in. And after hearing that from him, it was pretty like it's kind of a no-brainer decision to come back for my 5th year.
Yeah, Matt and I were actually talking. We did a podcast before this, and we were talking about like kind of storylines for 2025, and we brought up Vermont, and kind of we were both saying like we feel like you guys have the most tournament wins over the last 3-4 years in all of college soccer, and we were like, I feel like it's sustainable, right? Like now you're national champions. Like, where do you see this program in the next couple of years? Like, do you think Vermont's just going to continue to make deep runs in the tournament, and if so, why?
Yeah, I truly believe they'll become a dynasty. I mean, that's what I want to see, and I trust, Dow and Brad and all the coaches up there to, continue it. I trust the guys they're bringing in every year. Like it shows every year they're bringing 4 or 5 guys that are right away are really impactful. When we lost the Q's, we had this sour taste in our mouths after the game. We felt like it should have gone our way. And then, West Virginia, you bring in 4 or 5 guys who are starters the next year. We lose to Virginia. And then this year we bring in another great group of guys. And it's just the standards that we have as a team, and like, during practice, during the off season, that, I think we'll continue to grow. And once we get that feeling, like, now that we've actually won it, like, we know it can be done again. And I think they got the right formula up there to continue.
By the way, ESPN, the night of the championship game, ESPN played Coach Dow's pregame speech. And yeah. I was ready to run through a wall when I heard that thing. I was in my PJs ready to run through the wall and go out in the backyard and start kicking the ball. I mean, I've talked to Coach Dow a bunch, but what's his game day? I mean, does he fire you guys up? Is that one of his best attributes?
Yeah, 100%. Like earlier in this year, the pregame speeches kind of shifted between like really intense,
right,
then really mellow. Like I think we started 4-1-4 this year, so like it wasn't our best start, but like every pregame speech kind of changed. But then like once it came down to like the American East play, he was firing us up as best he could, and he just has this ability to get you fired up. And that his last speech for that final game was his best one, and it got us ready to go.
So you win the national championship on December 16th. 4 days later, you're drafted, first-round pick in the MLS Super Draft to New York.
Yeah.
I believe you and your teammate went back-to-back, right? Didn't
Yeah,
Sydney
went 16.
Yep, Sydney Mathuda went 16, then you went 17. So that's pretty cool. Two Vermont players back to back in the first round. What was that experience like when you heard your name called? Where were you? Where were you watching that draft? Did you expect to hear your name called? Kind of take us through that whole day.
So I was I got home that day. So the draft started at 2. I was supposed to leave Burlington by like 9:30 to get home around like 1:30ish too, right on time. I didn't leave Burlington till like 10:15. So I got home at like 2:10. I was like a little bit late for the draft. Um, but I made it home right in time around like the 5th, 6th pick.
Yeah.
But after the season, I had a few calls with some teams, and I kind of expected my name to be called. I knew New York. I had a really good call with New York 2 days before the draft, so they had expressed how they felt about me, and I was like, this could be a possible spot. And then kind of once I saw that they had traded up and, my name got picked, it was kind of surreal because of just like I guess the hard work and like my whole life has just been like for this moment right here and for it to finally happen. It was pretty special. And I was here with my mom and my brother. So I got to enjoy it with them.
That's awesome.
Nice. I imagine, did you do any, like, was there like a celebratory meal that night, or were you kind of like, you kind of touched on it, you kind of saw it coming a little bit, but still to be a first round draft pick is still pretty cool. Was there any celebration that night? Did you do anything special that day?
Not that day, but the next day, we got to go out to dinner as a family just because like my siblings all got home from school and my dad got home from work. So we all just kind of went out to dinner the next day to celebrate.
I got to ask too, at 6'5", was basketball ever in your future at all? You must have played some ball growing up, right?
Yeah. So I grew up playing both, but then like around like 4th, 5th grade, I did AAU basketball as well as travel soccer.
Yeah.
So I was doing both on the weekends. And then my freshman year, after my freshman year of high school, when I went to Seacoast Academy, my sophomore year is when I decided to stop playing AAU basketball and kind of just focus solely on soccer. But I was able to play. The only way I was going to be gonna go to Seacoast, my mom wouldn't or the only way my mom would let me go to Seacoast is if I still played high school basketball. So I got to play my 4 years of basketball in high school and play Seacoast.
See, I love that. I'm a big proponent of the multiple sport. I think multiple sports is always good if you can do it. And you guys got some tall dudes on that UVM team. Are you the best dunker on the team?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can a lot of guys on the team dunk?
Not really. I mean, a few of them can. We play intramural basketball every year.
Yeah.
At the school, we always put a team in, and we've won it twice. So every year it's really fun to like just for like a month just fool around and play basketball.
Yeah, awesome.
So, kind of shifting towards professional soccer now. Like you mentioned, that was a lifelong dream. Like now that it's here, like take us through kind of these next few weeks. I know you said you were, starting your journey with New York City soon, and like what's kind of this next month, and kind of what are your goals and plans for the rookie season, and living in New York too. That's going to be pretty fun.
Yeah. So like obviously it's just like just continue to do what I've been doing to like get me to this far. Like off season work like the last few weeks or last like week I've started to like ramp up working out, playing soccer after taking a few days off after the season. But
Well deserved.
yeah, and once I get to New York, it's just I just gotta kind of do me, put my head down, work, grind, because you're coming from especially a team like Vermont where uh, it's a really hardworking team. I ended my career on a really high note, and it's just coming into an environment where you're playing against guys that aren't just the best in the country anymore. You're playing against some of the best guys in the world now, and it's just being able to learn, take in what they're telling you, and just working as hard as I can to, make a good impression, but also put myself in the best position to, hopefully get some minutes on the first team and just enjoy the process at the same time. And then like living in New York, I'm coming from a town where there's 2,500, maybe 2,000 people here year round, to, living hopefully in the city where it's like the busiest city in the world.
Yeah.
So it'll be quite fun switch up, but I'll
Wait,
enjoy it.
do they still play at Yankee Stadium and all, or no?
Yeah, so they're at Yankee Stadium and Citi Field.
Oh, that's so cool. Wow, that's going to be awesome.
What,
So you rotate, the home games are rotated between those two? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
what position-wise, where do you think you translate to most of the pro level? Have you had those conversations?
Yeah,
Or?
I think I think it's center back. Just athletically size, like, I just feel like my game best translates to center back at the next level.
Yeah, I would think they'd want 6'5", winning those aerial balls. That's going to come in. So it's kind of come full circle for you. I mean, like you said, you kind of came in as a center back. Did you grow? I mean, when you were having those, playing forward and being a goal scorer, did you kind of grow accustomed to that role, or are you kind of happy to be back at that center back spot?
I would say I'm happy to be back playing center back. I mean, it's just the position I grew up. I wouldn't say grew up, but like when I did go to like Seacoast to really, develop and focus on soccer, that's where they had me playing. So that's where I was most comfortable playing at the highest level.
Awesome.
Are you serious about playing your sport in college? Do you need a flexible education that allows you to maintain your practice and competition schedules while also preparing you to succeed at the next level? You should check out the University of Nebraska High School. UNHS is accredited and offers more than 100 online courses, including NCAA-approved courses to protect your academic eligibility. Students can earn a UNHS diploma or take a single course for transfer credit. Courses are college prep, self-paced, and available 24/7, 365. Enroll anytime and take up to a year to complete a course. Visit highschool.nebraska.edu today.
Well, hey, it's been a great few weeks for you. We're happy for you. National championship in New England is pretty cool, and then to get drafted in the MLS is really cool. So it's a great career for you, and you've been great on the field. But we'll see if you can handle extra time right now with producer David Yaz. I don't know if you'll be able to handle this. This is going to be like no challenge you've ever seen.
Regulations.
Let's see.
So let's move to extra time.
Yes, many young men dream of a NCAA soccer championship. Many others, I'm not sure who they are, but dream of participating in Extra Time, everyone's favorite segment on the Goal podcast. So we have 3 questions prepared for our panelists. Matt is already sighing with disdain.
They can be tough. I'm just telling you.
All right. So question number 1, we'll start with the Matts, and then we will move to Max. First question is, other than Vermont's victory this year, what is your favorite soccer championship? So you can answer this question in any way you like. It could be as a fan, the favorite championship that you witnessed. Perhaps as a young man, your 3rd grade team, the orange team, beat the blue team or something like that. It could be anything. Your favorite title, your favorite championship. Let's see, Matt D., we'll start with you.
Definitely my high school. St. John's Prep in Danvers, Massachusetts. Not that I was on the team, but we won. They won.
If you're at the school,
a couple state titles.
You're allowed to.
They won one when I was there, but they also won another one when I was actually covering it for the Globe, which was pretty cool. Like their coach was my English teacher in high school, and I always root for the Prep in all sports. So they built a nice soccer powerhouse, and I think watching them when I was in high school win a state title was awesome, and the games were great. The tournament runs were awesome. A lot of school spirit, so I'd say that. And I was in media in high school too, so I was like around the team and covering it. So
very cool.
Yeah.
The Prep. I know a lot of people who went to the Prep Does the Prep have a mascot? Are you the something?
Eagles.
The Eagles.
Yeah.
Well, that's boring, but okay.
It's a cool eagle.
Okay.
It's fairly cool.
It's on BC.
It's a little cool.
There's too many Eagles and Wildcats.
We used to play the Prep in high school,
Okay.
and didn't often beat them. I actually never won a soccer championship in my playing career. I mean, I'm maybe some U8 and U10 stuff, but like nothing of significance. My high school team always finished second in our league. I don't know what my most favorite. Do we say it has to be? I had more success with basketball championships.
Go outside of soccer. Yeah, you won.
We were three-time intramural champions in college.
Oh, nice.
We still talk that up. We still talk it up. We won 3 straight sophomore, junior, senior year. And we had a wagon. We had a kid. Our big man was 6'9". I mean, we should have been on the team, but chose not to because he just wanted to have fun. So played with us instead. So that was my most fun.
Did you say where you went to college?
I went to Framingham State.
Oh, Framingham State. Okay, yep.
So we won 3 straight, and that was probably awesome because we had there were whispers during the time of maybe that intramural team should play the actual team. Maybe they should play.
We have a team name.
We were called the Panama Reds. That was our team name.
I won softball championship at University of Pennsylvania in intramural, but then we had what was called extramural, where all the intramural champs played the various Philadelphia schools, LaSalle, Drexel, etc., and we won that too.
Yeah, that's
very proud. All right, well now let's talk to a real athlete. Max, we assume that your most recent title is of course the thrill of your young life to date, but do you have others either as a fan or as a young man or anything like that?
I would say I think it was U12. We won the state championship. And when I played for GPS, we beat Seacoast, and it was like the first big title game I'd say I got to play in, or that I won that I played in.
And you won, I take it.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent.
Pretty tough to top a national championship. Kind of is hard to top.
MLS titles next.
Yeah.
The duo.
Question number 2 for Extra Time. Of course, we witnessed Vermont's incredible ride, including what was really a terrific comeback. That the goal scored, of course, in the 81st minute to tie things up. What was the greatest comeback you've ever witnessed in the sport of soccer at any level? Whether on TV or in person, whether you participated in it or not. Max, would you like to start with that one? Can you think of your favorite soccer comeback? Go ahead.
Yeah, it was when Liverpool came back against Barcelona. I forget the year. Was it 2018, 19, I think it was?
We'll look that up.
I didn't get to watch the first leg when they went down 3-0 at the Camp Nou, but I was able to watch the whole second game when they won 4-0, and that was unreal. Being able to watch it.
Was that in recent years? Wait a minute. Hold on. 2019, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
Does that sound about right? Yeah, overcame a 3-goal deficit. That's crazy. Good one. Excellent. Do you root for Liverpool, or were you just kind of a fan of the game generally?
I was just a fan of the game.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Matty L, you got one greatest comeback?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with the one that Max was just a part of, the Vermont National Championship comeback, because I'm sitting there watching it as a professional, and Max doesn't need to toot the team's horn on this, but I'm watching that. Max, I'm going to be real. I didn't think you guys were winning that game. When you were down, I did not think you were winning that championship game. I'm watching it. I'm getting ready to write something for our website, and I'm like, I got to start this. This sucks. I mean, they're going to come up 1 win short. It's still a heck of a run. They're going to come up 1 win short. They're not going to win this game. I'm crafting the first few paragraphs of what I'm going to write for the website, and then you guys come back and win the game. And it's unbelievable. To tie it, I was like, oh, they just tied it. And then when you tied it, I was like, they're going to win it. Like they're going to win this game. Once they tied it, I knew they were going to win it, but I thought they were done. And I don't know if you guys was there ever even was there a little doubt in your mind at all during that game, or were you guys always like, we're going to win this game?
It always going down 1-0 with that much time left. You're always we might. But I was talking with our manager, and he was like, and some of the guys on the bench were like, there was never a doubt in my mind that you guys were going to come back and win the game. So.
Wow. But the crazy thing about soccer is it's not like it's sometimes so hard to generate a comeback in soccer, though, because goals are so difficult to come by that when you're down 1-0 and there's minimal time left in a match, like it's hard to think that. Like basketball, I feel like you can hit a couple threes back in it. Like it's so fast. It's a lot of scoring. Soccer is so tough. And you guys,
is that because the momentum, the concept of momentum in soccer is just different?
Yeah, and teams can sit back. I mean, I feel like a team nursing a lead can just sit back and like really just crowd the box and just make things miserable. But for you guys to score, then the 2 goals you scored were unbelievable, world-class goals. I mean, the passing combo on the first goal was unbelievable. Then the deep ball, I think it was Zach who made the deep ball right for the game winner, and then to shed the defender and then get that breakaway. I mean, both world-class goals. So it's so hard. The odds are so stacked up against you that I thought Vermont was done. And then to win that game was unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, I was thinking, I watched the Denver game. I was writing a story on it. And he texted me like that morning, like, hey, can you do the UVM game tonight? So I was watching it on TV. My roommate went out for the night. I had made some dinner. It was great. But the first half, I was like, oh, they're going to lose. Like, I thought Denver played really well. And it just seemed like you couldn't they were controlling the play, right? That first half. And so I thought you guys were going to lose too. And then the second half, around like the 60th minute, things started to change. And I could tell you guys were just playing with some energy. And then to get that, but then I think that was in the 84th minute. You tied it up. And I remember the announcer said something like, they've scored this many goals this time of the year. And that was a great game. Like, that was just so intense. And obviously the overtimes going to PKs, like it was awesome. So that's up there for me. I think there was a high school game I covered in the tournament a couple years ago, and this is terrible, but they were leading like 2-0, and then someone scored with like 3 minutes left to make it 2-1, and then they tied it. I can't even remember the team. I think it was Holliston was in it, but they tied it in the last minute. The goalie completely butchered the play. Like, it was like not even a shot. It was just kind of a ball, and he like bobbled it and it went by him, and then they ended up losing in overtime, and it was like brutal. Like, having to write, like, in high school, you're not going to trash the goalie for like misplaying a ball, but it was clearly like a self-inflicted error, and that was a crazy comeback. And those type of things I feel like have to happen for those type of comebacks to happen. But I'll never forget that. And I felt really bad for the kid too.
Yeah, totally.
It's like they say, it could happen, so you better watch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or read, or listen to the podcast, the Goal podcast.
Or
from
subscribe.
Or subscribe.
Yeah, it was like a state semifinal.
Do all those things. All right, final question for extra time. And Max, this is a good one. We're going to let you answer last on this, so you get the final word. What statue should be commissioned, created, and placed on the campus of the University of Vermont to commemorate this soccer championship? Okay. First answer could be Max Murray. Why not? I think he'd make a nice statue. Should it be Max Kissel's winning goal? Should it be Max Kissel ripping his jersey off? Should it be Coach Dow being carried off the field? I was going to say, should it be a catamount? You guys already have a catamount there, so you might want to modify the catamount. I don't know. Let your imagination run wild. And Matt L., would you like to start with this one?
Wow, that's a lot of good choices there. A lot of good choices. Yeah. The celebration after Kissel's goal was cool in the corner. But like Dow getting doused at the gator. I mean, Dow had a lot of great body language moments where he would have been a great statue.
Put the mustache on.
Yeah, I know that there's a lot. I mean, man, I don't know. I defer to Max on this because he was part of it.
All right.
But there's a lot of good moments. You could make a bunch of statues. You can probably make 10 statues on campus from this run.
These things cost money.
I know, but I'm not paying. What do I care?
Listen, this is no disrespect to Max, but I feel like you have to put the coach, right? Like, you can't put all the players. I mean, if you did like a team, you could do a team one, but that'd be small. But like, the coaches get the statue, unfortunately. Like the players don't. Like you look at
Bobby Orr's got a statue, but that's probably because of how great a player he was, not necessarily.
Well, I think you mean more at the college level, because the coaches are there for like you're saying because of the nature of college, where athletes come in for 4 years.
Like the field in 30 years will be like Dow Field at University of Vermont, something like that, and then you have the statue outside. Like that's how I see it. But I mean, the players are. You guys had so many good players. It's like, how many statues can you do? Like you have to find one where you can get
everybody involved.
And I think it's just, if I was the administrator, it's like I have to do the coach. Like that's
Max,
all.
I hope you're ready.
Even though you players are fantastic, like it's nothing against you guys. It's just, you know, the copper industry.
Poor Max.
Big Copper. You're gonna say you should listen to Big Copper.
They're gonna get a memo saying the whole team has to report to the field and stand still for 3 hours so a sculptor can get. All right, well, Max, we'll let you talk finally. What should the statue be?
I think the statue should be of Rob and Brad Cole. I think you should put the two of them together, just because of Rob, his legacy. That he's how long he's been there, what he's done recently, and then Brad, because Brad was a player. Brad was born and raised in Burlington, and that's this guy. He was in tears after the national championship game, and it just kind of showed how much it meant to him. And I think it's only fair that you put a statue of both of them together.
Thanks.
I like that.
I love it. As a surprise for next year, I'm gonna Matt. We have a statue being created of you guys to be placed here in the studio.
Oh, sweet.
Unfortunately, it's only 4 inches tall.
See, you'd get the statue. Like you're
because I'm the coach.
You're the coach.
4 inches tall.
All right.
I mean, the game-winning goal would be a cool one too.
Yeah.
There is already, Max, maybe you know this. I saw this online. There is a Coach Dow bobblehead. That's not a joke. There's somebody made a Coach Dow bobblehead, really? Which will.
I won't.
Yeah.
Max, have you heard the ESPN call, like the broadcasting call?
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
Special. It kind of highlights in those little words. It kind of highlights the season. Like you don't call them Cinderellas. You call them national champions.
Yeah, that's great.
It was an electric call.
It was.
Yeah.
What is that? Dallin Cuff on the call? Yeah, that was a good call.
Yeah, and he started at midfield because obviously it was a breakaway.
Well, once the breakaway happened, you knew. Yeah, you knew. I mean, the ball by Zach was phenomenal, though. I mean, the deep ball down the side was awesome.
The national. This is not a joke. Well, you know what? It might be a joke. It's the internet, but it's the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame is selling Rob Dow Vermont Catamounts 2024 Soccer Championship bobblehead. He's wearing a scarf. He looks very handsome, and they are $35 each plus shipping and handling.
There you go, Best Buy in the biz. Right?
There you go. I'll have to get one for the studio.
Yeah, good. Max, pull some strings. Get us one of those.
I'll try. I gotta.
Terrific job by all. Congratulations once again to Max. Great reliving all of those moments. And back to you, Matt, to wrap things up.
Thanks a lot, David. That was excellent as usual. And Max, we really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy. I know you're going to get out to where would you say you're heading down to Florida for from an MLS event first, or for a draftee event, and then we'll see where that all takes you. But congrats on a great career at Vermont and a national championship. Pretty special. Thanks again.
Thanks, Max. Congrats and good luck with everything moving forward.
Absolutely. Thanks again to Max Murray for joining the podcast. I'm Matt Langone. Thanks for listening. New England Soccer Journal's The Goal podcast is produced by David Yaz and is a Siemens Media production.
You've been listening to New England Soccer Journal's The Goal podcast. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to our podcast. Or visit anysoccerjournal.com/podcast. Siemens Media. Inspiring. Informative. Insightful.